Venus is sometimes called Earth's sister planet because of its similar size and orbit. However, scientists who know her the best consider Venus an estranged sister. A thick veil of swiftly rotating sulfuric acid clouds, as seen in this ultraviolet picture, continuously shroud the surface, which can reach temperatures of 470 degrees centigrade and pressures of 90 Earth atmospheres. It wasn't until the 1960s that Earth-based radars began to obtain crude images of this pressure cooker surface and discovered that Venus rotates in 243 days and in the opposite direction from the Earth and its own atmosphere. In the 1970s, several Soviet landers were able to penetrate the deep carbon dioxide atmosphere for a few hours and send back details on its surface and atmospheric composition. The photos from these first short-lived landers revealed a dry, baked volcanic plateau. In 1978, NASA launched the Pioneer Venus program, sending several more short-term probes into the atmosphere of Venus, while an orbiter began preliminary radar mapping of the surface. In 1985, a joint Soviet-French-U.S. experiment deployed two small superpressure helium balloons into the atmosphere. For about 2 days, these balloons floated at a nearly constant altitude of 54 kilometers, sending back important new information on atmospheric circulation. These high-resolution radar images of the surface, taken in 1991 by the Magellan spacecraft, entice us to return to this fascinating planet for longer direct explorations of the surface and atmosphere. In 1993, engineers at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, began developing a concept for a long-life, automated, variable altitude balloon system for Venus. Such a system would descend to the surface for short excursions from the cool, high-altitude clouds. On the surface, it would measure the planet's chemical and mineralogical composition and make visual observations not possible a few kilometers above the surface. This new concept for Venus exploration is called the Venus Flyer Robot, a telerobot that can autonomously fly and navigate in 3 dimensions through the dense, dynamic atmosphere of Venus. The Venus Flyer Robot will incorporate advanced mobility techniques, materials able to withstand high temperatures, innovative thermal control features, and power generation and storage systems. A key mobility technique is reversible fluid balloon altitude control. A reversible fluid is either a gas or a liquid, depending on pressure and temperature. It is this phase change which can be used to control the buoyancy of a balloon system. The choice of a reversible fluid will determine the equilibrium altitude about which the balloon system will oscillate indefinitely. However, if the liquid were to be sealed in a pressure vessel before the balloon dropped below this equilibrium altitude, the balloon will descend all the way to the surface. In order to control altitude range and equilibrium level, a primary balloon filled with helium or hydrogen can be combined with a secondary buoyancy control balloon filled with a reversible fluid that allows us to go to a high, cool equilibrium altitude. Single balloon concepts using fluid mixtures are also possible and are being studied. Because Venus's high-altitude atmosphere is similar to the Earth's in temperature and pressure, we can demonstrate reversible fluid altitude control technology in our own atmosphere. Technology demonstrations are underway at JPL under the Altitude Control Experiment, or ALICE project. In this project, a 2-balloon system is being tested. The primary balloon is filled with helium, and the buoyancy control balloon is filled with a commercial refrigerant called R114. At typical Earth atmospheric conditions, R114 becomes a liquid above about 7,000 meters. The 4th flight in a series of ALICE balloon launches tested a new heat exchanger design, which facilitates fluid boiling at low altitudes. These scenes show the heat exchanger in the process of development. A prototype R114 buoyancy control balloon was filled with gaseous R114 and lowered into a freezer to observe gas condensation and the liquid filling of the heat exchanger. The prototype was then removed and the evaporation process observed and measured.
get this.
channels.
This is a very efficient heat exchanger, boys.
All right.
Look at it, there's a volcano here. It's shooting it up all the way up.
It's not level. This side is too.
That's okay, it's okay.
That's why you're getting it all on that side.
It's all right.
This fourth flight was fully instrumented to continuously monitor the temperatures of the helium gas and the R114 as it changed from a gas to a liquid. It also used a different material for the primary balloon, a clear polyethylene, shown here having the helium temperature sensor installed. At 9 p.m., the night of July 24, 1994, the balloon system was filled with buoyant gases, assembled to its telemetry system, and released into the night sky from the foothills above JPL.
Hold that button. It says higher up.
Everything is deployed. The hull is taped up. Drawer open. Temperature sensor deployed. Is that all affirmative? Yeah. Okay. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm pressing the button. 1. Release.
Hey. Looking good. Looks clear of everything.
After tracking the passive free-flight balloon system throughout the night, the Alice team observed the balloon after sunrise as it crossed the Nevada border just north of Death Valley.
Oh, I see.
The 14 hours of tracking data contains valuable information on balloon dynamic and thermodynamic conditions. 4 complete oscillations between 5 and 9 kilometers in altitude were recorded, with 1 oscillation occurring during daylight. These data will help to refine balloon performance models which will lead to better predictions of reversible fluid balloon behavior at Earth and Venus. Future Alice flights will include control systems that will allow autonomous landings. Another important Venus Flyer robot technology is the development of balloon materials that can withstand the high surface temperatures of Venus. One promising candidate is a liquid crystal polymer called polybenzoxazole, or PBO. Room temperature PBO fiber is, pound for pound, 3 times stronger than steel. High-temperature thermomechanical testing of PBO and other materials is currently underway at JPL. PBO fibers and films have shown they can withstand temperatures as high as 500 degrees centigrade. In general, PBO fibers are stronger than PBO films. Even so, the measured tensile strength of PBO films at 500 degrees centigrade is 2.5 orders of magnitude higher than room temperature polyethylene. JPL has begun planning a balloon technology demonstration called Balloon Experiment at Venus, or BEV. BEV development is patterned after JPL's Mars Microrover technology demonstration, which is scheduled to fly on the 1996 Mars Pathfinder lander mission. Like the Microrover, BEV could be carried piggyback style to Venus on another planned mission. The BEV entry system is lightweight, only 25 kilograms. It will decelerate in less than a minute from a typical entry speed of 11 kilometers per second to subsonic velocities. Then the aft cover is separated, which acts as a parachute, pulling the balloon envelope and gondola away from the aeroshell and further decelerating the balloon. Soon thereafter, the aft cover is jettisoned and the balloon begins to inflate. BEV uses the gases ammonia and water for buoyancy, which will begin to vaporize as the balloon descends into the hot Venusian atmosphere. Once it is fully inflated, the balloon system begins free-flight oscillations between 40 and 60 kilometers in altitude. BEV will rotate once around Venus every 7 to 8 days in the swift east-to-west high-altitude winds. At 40 kilometers, temperature is a hot 143 degrees centigrade, while at 60 kilometers, the temperature cools to a minus 10 degrees centigrade. When it is close to the surface, a sequence of near-infrared images will be taken of the topography. These images will be used to demonstrate optical navigation techniques for a future Venus Flyer robot. This engineering cutaway drawing of the BEV entry vehicle shows the 5-kilogram gondola with its electronics, a toroidal or donut-shaped tank, containing about 1.5 kilograms of ammonia, and a balloon envelope containing about 2 kilograms of water. The total mass of the balloon system is about 10 kilograms, not including reserves. During the descent to 40 kilometers altitude, the gondola electronics are kept cool by a low-density insulation, like silica foam. Upon ascent, the gondola is recooled by means of a one-way heat pipe. Electrical energy is collected by a small solar array and stored in batteries. Bev makes a significant contribution to the understanding of Venus balloon technology needed for the Venus Flyer robot. In particular, Bev supplies us with new technical knowledge of Venus balloons, such as balloon altitude control dynamics and thermodynamics, optical navigation using the Venus surface topography, materials and balloon envelope design, gondola thermal control, and power generation and storage. Bev is an innovative first step in opening up the entire planet to robotic exploration of the surface and atmosphere by balloons.